welcome everyone, and welcome to our Tuesday evening Catalyst Meditation. Welcome to those who have joined us today, especially folks who are new to it. Welcome to those who are following on the outline, and we have an anonymous fox on the outline right now. And the outline is what I'm reading from, and this is to keep each one of our meditations standard. And we also give a welcome to those who have been with us in the past on the Catalyst Meditation but can't join us today. And I see some people who have been with us in the past, haven't been able to join us for a while, and now are joining us again. So you are very welcome. We are going to do a centering meditation, and the centering meditation is for us to get ourselves centered on ourselves, centered on each other, and centered on all living beings. Now, that's a big order, but we try to keep as much of that here because this is not about me, it's not about you, it's not even about us, it's about the all. And we are going to spend 3 minutes on this with practicing our breathing and breathing while we're focusing on the all. And if we can start by breathing in, breathe out, breathe in, and just keep going for another minute or so in a silent centering. So if we can come back to our mutual center, we'll begin our catalyst meditation by setting our intentions. As the imaginal cells within the chrysalis come together to form the butterfly out of the disintegrated caterpillar cells, we come together to form a gateway to the meta-consciousness of the mind of Gaia. We act for ourselves personally, and we act as aspects of the whole, aspects of Mother Earth. The universe is one, is alive, and is conscious. Holonic consciousness is a fundamental aspect of the universe. Every atom in the universe holds consciousness. It is always with us. We're acknowledging that now, because many humans have forgotten, and many humans have been in denial. We act to reawaken our connection to Mother Earth for the benefit of all living beings. And we acknowledge our connection to all beings. We are one with all beings. Our oneness includes all humans, including those who have gone before and those who are to come. We are one with all beings who thrive on and in the air. We are one with all beings who thrive on and in the water. We are one with all beings who thrive on and in the earth. We are one with all beings who thrive on and in our bodies. We are one with all beings that thrive on light, the beings of the plant realms. We are one with all meta beings, including the earth as a living meta being, air as a living meta being, fire as a living meta being, water as a living meta being. We are one with all colony beings, meta beings that are collections of solo beings, and that includes murmurations, colonies, schools, hives, pods, flocks, herds, migrations, harmonies, swarms, and other forms of colony beings. We especially acknowledge and honor those beings who are partnered and bound with us, including those beings we rely upon for food, for security, for assistance, and for love and companionship, and those beings who rely on us for the same. And we acknowledge all other forms of consciousness, known and unknown to us. Having acknowledged all beings, we blend all of our energies. May all who are part of Mother Earth be connected to and in perfect health, harmony, and balance with each other and with Gaia for the common good. We are in perfect physical health, harmony, and balance. We are in perfect emotional health, harmony, and balance. We are in perfect relational health, harmony, and balance. We are in perfect mental health, harmony, and balance. We are in perfect spiritual health, harmony, and balance. We are in perfect holonic health, harmony, and balance. We are in perfect spatial and temporal health, harmony, and balance. We are in the perfect place, at the perfect time, in the perfect conditions, and with the perfect beings. We set and we energize our declarations. We declare that the universe is one, is alive, and is conscious. We declare that holonic consciousness is a fundamental aspect of the universe. We declare that the earth and all beings are one. Together we form a meta-consciousness. We declare that all humans are one. one family, one species, one destiny. Separations are illusory. We awaken human consciousness from all illusions of separation. We declare that humans are colony beings. We deepen and expand our human murmurations, our human harmonies. We declare that Mother Earth is the ultimate governing principle, the way that humans govern their behavior on this planet, replacing all other forms of human governance. This is the way our behavior aligns with the will of the Earth. We declare that Mother Earth is providing all necessary resources to achieve the vision of a world that works for all living beings. We declare that we are creating a political and economic system where all beings participate in it, all, be all beings are in relationship with it, all beings own it, all beings benefit from it, and all beings govern it for the common good. So we now are going to meditate within this holonic energy, within the energy of Mother Earth. While we're in our meditation, we'll be listening for any messages that we may receive that we'll bring back to others. While we're in the meditation, we'll be making any personal requests that we may have. And we'll be deepening and expanding our human experience of our human murmurations, our human harmonies. And I will call us back in about 5 to 8 minutes, and that's going to be starting now. If you can come back to our mutual center, we'll conclude with our inclusivity mantra. May I be well. May I be secure. May I be happy. May you be well. May you be secure. May you be happy. May we be well. May we be secure. May we be happy. And may all beings be well. May all beings be secure. May all beings be happy. And so it is, and so it shall be. Thank you so much for joining us for the Catalyst meditation. And again, thank you for the folks who are new to it and are attending for the first time. Thank you to the folks who are not new to it, and hopefully you've seen some changes in the Catalyst, in the outline of the Catalyst meditation. And now, well, if anybody has anything they want to say with or about the Catalyst meditation itself, or your response to it, or if any of you got any messages while you were in the Catalyst meditation part, let me know now. Messages that are meant for us all. I am going to take a sip of my stuff so that we can, I usually just say, anybody have anything to say? Okay, now I'm going to talk now. And the regulars know they have to jump in as soon as I say that, so they do so. Oh, and the way you get recognized is in your toolbar at the bottom of your screen, there's a heart that says react, and in the react there's a button that says raise hand, and you can raise your digital hand. If you don't want to be bothered with that, you can wave your meat hand around and I'll recognize your meat hand. And if that's too much trouble for you, you can unmute yourself and you can I'll see your microphone going hot, and I will do something about that. But I see that Zoom user, whom I know as Rob, has unmuted himself and raised his digital hand, ready to say something now. Rob.
Yes, I gotta say something. Yeah, because you're right. If I don't talk, you'll keep talking. So I don't know who's worse at it, me or you, both East Coast guys, you know. So anyway, as far as are you doing like a Vipassana? I know you used to call it, maybe you still do, MSU meditation. But is it more like a Vipassana style where you're just kind of focus on clearing your mind, like, and focus on your breath? Or is this more intentional meditation?
Um, I can't respond to that right now. And that's because, as I said, the purpose of Vipassana, the purpose of insight meditation, the purpose of uh, transcendental meditation, the purpose of every meditation technique that I know of, it focuses on yourself. The purpose of Catalyst meditation is not to do that. None of them. So I have a lot of people who will say to me, um, oh, I already have a meditative technique. I've been doing TM for the past 20 years. Da, 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 da. And I'm saying, fine, we're not doing that. We're doing something else. And for those of you who have been with me for a long time, you know we're making this up as we go along. Okay, the purpose of this is for us to connect with all living beings. Now, we've been taught, I'm going to say this really quickly because I have a video on this and I'll send you the video. Okay. But we've been taught that reality is something and consciousness is something um, that happens inside of our heads. Happens inside the heads of human beings. That is an amazingly arrogant fallacy. Consciousness is everywhere. Consciousness is in every living being, and every being, and every speck, every atom of the universe holds a degree of consciousness. And our ability to tap into that is simply a matter of whether or not we're focusing on it. Some people are born in that focus. We call them the keepers, the people who, indigenous people, native people, people who from the very beginning have their parents and grandparents and great grandparents recognize that we are one. I'm trying to get back there. And I'm trying to get back there in uh, a powerful way. I'm trying to get back there so that we can take our real role in with regard to our humanity. And we have some friends that have been there, that lived in there. And I'm going to introduce one of them right now. Um, the I don't remember now how many years Ilarion and I have been aware of each other, working with each other, once in a while listening to each other, and it has been a continued fruitful connection. Um, And I welcome the times and we've had that we could work together, and I'm welcoming this time right here. So, Ilarion, I'm gonna turn it over to you. I remember, well, we talk regularly, and the last few times we've talked about um, basically what it takes for us to change ourselves and to change ourselves in such a way that we become useful to each other, useful to the earth as opposed to useless, and in alignment with the things that are going that are on their way to happening. And so let me turn that over to you, and you can uh, help us see some of that direction.
Ang wan, ang kaya kakamna man kaya kasuda, tingunangan way, unangan nasa Kuuyux. I said, hello, my other self. That's the way we greet each other every day. And I said, the evening tastes good. That's another way we greet each other every day. And I said, I am Unangan. We don't use the word Aleut because that was given to us by our former oppressors. Unangan means the people by the sea, and we've been out in the Bering Sea for over 10,000 years, and we're still there. And I said my traditional name is Kuuyux, which means like an arm extending out from the body, a carrier of ancient knowledge into modern times, a messenger. I was given that name by the last Kuuyux that was left alive amongst my people when I was 4 years old, and I've been living the legacy of my name for most of my life. So, welcome to everyone that's listening. I recognize one name, Linda, It's nice to see all of you. And thank you, Shariff, for inviting me to this presentation. And hopefully we can say things that most people would find useful. Now, my people were very spiritual. They were not religious, it was spiritual. And we have stories about coming out of Egypt, going to out of Mongolia to Siberia to Kamchatka and down to across by traditional craft, not by the Bering Land bridges, as most anthropologists say. And we developed a basic form of brain surgery. We did not wear any footwear even in the wintertime. You know, you hear about the llamas, they sit on the snow and melt it. Well, that was our people. And we had a way of living in the world that was quite remarkable. They're an inspiration to me, where our people never planned. We didn't plan where we're going to get the food the next day. Now, from those times, knowing where your food is very important. But our people did not plan where they were going to go the next day to get food for the people in our tribes, in our band. What they did was to be present in the moment, in the heart, and they set their intention and let go. I call it true faith because it's a faith that's embodied at the cellular level and involves the entire body. And that faith sets that intention, and then they let go, knowing that that doing that, they are doing what our original instructions asked us to do. And because of that, we developed the most densely populated linear mile of shoreline in all of North America for our time. And also, I like to tell people, you can wonder about this. We have a word for billion that was thousands of years old. Now, why would any indigenous group have a word for billion? You can't count a billion anything. Even the stars, you might count 2,000. So, leave you with that one. But my generation was the last generation that had a fully intact upbringing, where the entire village raised me, and I was affirmed every day by every adult, and greeted like Ang Lakaya, Echem Nakochtien, good boy. That's the way I would be greeted every day. And the adult job amongst my people was simply to create the space for a child to learn. Not tell them what to learn, how to learn, or to define anything. Now we reverse that, of course. And my job as a child was to watch, listen, and learn. And by doing that, I could expand out to the maximum of my capability without the interference of anyone except myself. And this is what I attribute the fact that I have personal authority. It's something that I had to find out for myself. Personal authority is something that's very rare today. And everybody's looking at outside authority. We're indoctrinated in accepting outside authority, starting with your parents, and then all the way up to postdoctorate degree, where anything less than postdoctorate is inferior. These are ways that we have been indoctrinated at, and I like to point that out, that this is an indoctrination because personal authority is needed now. I facilitate a group of elders from around the world, and these elders are spiritual, all of them. And we met in Kauai in 2017 for the first time, and we did ceremonies in all of the traditions that were there, and then during the day we talked to answer two questions. One, what is the state of the world as we see it now? And two, what must we be doing now? And we had 35 hours of film. We gelled it down to 15 minutes. It was launched by Reuters News Service in 2020 during Earth Day. Was translated into 15 different languages and interpreted and seen by over 80,000 people the first day. So it was a good launch. It contains the messages of our elders, and you can find that out through our website, www.wisdomweavers.world. And so anyway, their message essentially says we have got to find the courage to go to our hearts and let our hearts tell our minds what to do, and then the mind's job would be to implement what your heart is telling you. Now, this is the indigenous way around the world. Your heart tells your mind what to do, and my job is to implement what your heart is telling you. Now it's opposite. We live in a world where the mind is telling the heart what to do. And as a result, the elders say, we have all the trials and tribulations and ills that the human being is facing today. And what we have to do is not look outside of ourselves for the answers. We look to our hearts. And from my personal experience, the heart never guides you wrong. It has courage, it has love, it has patience, it has understanding, it has all these things that we are seeking today. And the elders say we don't have much time. Mother Earth, she survived for billions of years. She's going to survive for billions more. She doesn't need us. But she's saying that it's a question about whether or not we humans are going to survive this time. And to survive it, I was talking with Don Alejandro, who was the keeper of the day calendar for the Mayans, when he was alive, and he said, you know, we're going to have a very hard time as human beings. We're coming into a hard time. And the ones that are going to negotiate this time the best are going to be people of fire, which means people of the heart. And those people don't look on the outside for answers. You know, for example, we're depending on technology and state-of-the-art thinking to get us out of the troubles we have. No. The state-of-the-art thinking and modern technology is nothing but the old regurgitated as the new. And so we're finding, you know, I do lots of talks like this. To video programs, Zoom programs are all over the world. And we know that it is very difficult to get to your heart because it requires real courage. And most people have not found that courage yet. And we, Mother Earth, she's telling us that we must remember who we are, which is what we call the real human being. The names here in Alaska, Inupiat, Yupik, Dene, Unangan, that means the people are the real people. That's not because we are different. It's because it's description of a way of life that our ancestors gave us these names to remind us never to forget that we have to be a real human being. And right now in the world, we're faced with all kinds of trials and tribulations, and we pray to God to help solve those things. Dear God, give me this, give me that, help my friend, she's dying, blah 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 blah. But the indigenous people, they only give thanks and gratitude to who we call a ro, the maker. It's not a gender specific, and so we give thanks, and then we pray, yeah, but to the spirit beings that are in the invisible world. This is what stretches credulity, I guess, by most people in Western society. But I know they exist because I have talked with them, and they said, Aro has given everyone free choice. All things in existence that has consciousness has free choice, and they cannot act unless they're asked by the people, unless we ask them for help specifically, that is help that is in harmony with all that is. They can't act. So this is why we feel most prayers to God are not answered, because God is not concerned about human-created issues. It's up to human beings to solve them, and that's our responsibility. But it's difficult for most people to accept this because they don't have personal authority, and they are not present in the moment and in the heart. But we all want to be, and all of us are capable of doing this. And everything that I've experienced in my life, in terms of these good things that happen, that's the capability of all human beings. If I'm saying anything that resonates with you, it's only because I'm reminding you of what you already know. And there's no singular gurus anymore. We are all gurus because we have the answers in our hearts. And we're here now, during this time of great challenge to human beings, for a purpose. And the purpose can only be, our purpose individually can only be found by going to one's heart and listening to that heart and following what your heart is telling you. So my prayer is that all human beings wake up. Thank you, Shariff.
I make sure I mute myself so that I can not interrupt you. um, the yeah, the thing that um, I find interesting as we're talking. I mean, every time you're talking, I'm sitting down taking lots and lots of notes, which is a sign that you're saying something worth taking notes. Um, but one of the things, when you're saying that God isn't concerned with human created issues, um, a lot of us are mired in we have to save the earth. We have to save the whales. We have to save the such and such. Or the opposite of that being, we have to exploit the whales. We have to exploit the trees. We have to exploit the such and such. Um, I have a God-given right to use all of this for myself. And I think both of those approaches are wrong. But I want to get a feel for how you see that.
Yeah, thanks, Sharif, for that question. First of all, we don't look at what is being plundered as resources. It's part of Mother Earth and and is sacred because of that. So resources being something that you exploit, and the ones who follow the original instruction do not exploit. They reciprocate. They share with each other uh, to to survive and thrive. And so we're in a world that is flipped upside down. The Yupik elders in Southwest Alaska call this the reverse society or the inside out society because we reverse all the laws for living. And our job as real human beings is to remember the original instructions. Now, the original instructions, most people believe that who are not indigenous, they believe that we must have invented these instructions over thousands of years. But we didn't. We received it. And this is something that's very difficult to explain. Um, amongst my people, we have a story about the womb at the center of the universe. And this womb is a place of creation and creativity. Now, we don't put a gender to the great spirit that lives in all things. We have a name that has no gender. And this comes from the fact that the original instructions say we must not go to duality. That duality means right, wrong, good, bad, all these kinds of things that in spirit we unify those dualities. Now, those who follow the Christian path, the story of Adam and Eve in Genesis, uh, uh, God told them not to partake of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. But they did. Now, what does that mean? Knowledge of good and evil immediately gets us into a world of duality. And we think that it's normal now because everything that we've created is dualistic. Everything that we have created is dualistic, including our thoughts. And this is going exactly the opposite of where the real human being needs to go. We need to abide by and understand that these original instructions were templated equally all over the world. So the entire world had it, but made only different by the fact that the vibration of the land, the language, and the culture. Other than that, they were identical. And women have the identical field of energy inside their womb. And our elders say, when women get together in sisterhood and heal themselves, they can vibrationally project the energy that they have inside of themselves outside so that something new can be birthed. Until this happens, nothing new is going to be birthed. We'll repeat and repeat and repeat all the things that we've done throughout history until we do this. Now we're moving, I accept this as a fact. We're moving into a different realm now. Human beings and all of Mother Earth is moving towards a different set of consciousness. And this consciousness is a consciousness of elimination of separation. Separation will not exist. And I mean separation of all kinds. Nation states, for example, the different governments and different skin color, different religion, blah, blah, blah. All these things that we are now using to separate ourselves are going to go. And only those who understand by going to one's heart how to negotiate this time will be the ones who negotiate this time the best. That's what Don Alejandro said, that the ones who will negotiate this time the best are going to be people of the fire, which means people of the heart.
One of the things that I got when I was in the Himalayas at the 15,000 foot level in a cave all by myself, very, very by myself, no other human beings for 10 miles in any direction. A couple of things that came was this notion of the trials that we have already entered. We're not going to enter it. It has already happened, started, and will continue on for maybe the next 20, 30 years or so. And that if we don't change, those changes will decimate the human population. What came to me in that cave was that the human population, we could lose half of the humans on the planet within 20 years. Now, that sounds harsh, but when we think about the number of people who are not, number one, not aligned with their hearts, not aligned with Mother Earth, not aligned with each other, okay, who are focused anywhere, everywhere, except where they should be focused. That's a lot of people, okay? And what we can do and what we should be doing and what we're doing with this catalyst meditation is helping people get themselves aligned. Now, you know very well that I was raised on concrete. I was not raised in any way, shape, or form, even knowing about, let alone respecting nature, respecting the earth, respecting the food that I ate. All of that stuff was no, it wasn't even theoretical. I didn't know it, and I knew nothing about it. Nobody around me knew anything about it. And over the course of the last years and decades, it's been coming to me that this stuff is really important. And I can now feel my heart. That's like, it's there. It's right. It's not a blood pump. It's not just a blood pump. There's something, there is the intelligence that's here, as you've just been saying, guides the intelligence up here, if there's any up here. Um, if you don't know what's here, and I'm actually going to say even lower, down in your gut, there's intelligence that you don't pay attention to, that we don't pay attention to. That to me, when you were talking about being um, real human beings, very, very powerful term. Um, Jesus referred to a term that in Greek got translated to anthropos, and anthropos then got translated by lazy scholars as men. So be men. That the command was be men. Oh, hey, I got that licked, you know. So, but that's not the right translation. The right translation is be authentic human beings. Anthropos is up here. So what Jesus was talking about with anthropos is similar to what you were just saying in terms of being real human beings. Treating the heart as more than a blood pump, treating the heart as the process, what Václav Havel called living in truth, living within your truth. And so you and I talked about that living in truth, living in your heart, means living with and using your gifts. Now, this society tells us that I've got gifts, I've got all these degrees, I got them plastered on my walls. That means I'm a really important person. Yay! Now, that's probably not what you mean by it. So maybe you should tell us what you mean when you talk about living within our gifts.
That's a good one. Well, you're right. It's not gifts from the things that we create on the outside. It's gifts from what is created on the inside. Our people understood that the only place that is connected to the divine is the heart. And logic and rationality, they're good when they follow the heart, but they don't. It's not. The heart is not rational or logical. It's transrational, and because of that, each of us uniquely, especially during this time when we're placed on Mother Earth right now, have a unique gift to give to the world. And this gift, in order to receive it, you've got to be able to get to the heart. You have to have the courage to get to your heart. And right now, there's no stronger mandate than that. And that once you do, you will know what you need to do during this time of great changes to Mother Earth and great changes sociologically, politically, in every which way that people are seeing being affected all over the world. That you can contribute to what happens to the world if you get to your heart. Then your heart, I mean, you got to do it in a way that is safe for you. I mean, it's not safe for. I mean, if your heart told you you had to dance in a frenzy or whatever, people will think you're crazy. So, you know, you got to keep that in mind, but still, you must do what your heart is telling you. Uh,
Oh,
I remember one
listen,
time when,
oh, I didn't mean to cut you off. Um, isn't it okay? So I'm going to be listening to my heart, but can I listen to my heart if I'm still carrying fear around? Doesn't the fear stifle what's going on in my heart?
absolutely, not just, you know, we have guilt, shame, remorse, anger, rage, jealousy, all these things from the past that are here with us present in the moment, or projection of the future of something that hasn't happened yet out of fear, you know, and every place except the proverbial now. And the only place that you are going to find your heart and the connection to divine is going to be in the present moment. You're not going to find it in the past or the future. It's only now. And so, this, you know, I can't emphasize enough how much courage it's going to take to be able to do that. You know, most people, when we left our hearts, I feel like we left it because of the traumas that we faced as a human being. So we left our hearts so that we won't remember or to feel those things anymore. And this is the very thing that we need to overcome, which requires courage to, you know, the way that I dealt with my own history and lots of traumas that were in my life. I made sure that it was visible, first of all, to me. And once it's visible, I had something I could deal with. I can process it and then let it go. Now, to heal trauma, I feel, you need to have people, other people, maybe just a friend that would understand what you're going through as you process this feeling. And the friend is to remind you that you are not these feelings. It's something that comes up from the past. And so it helps you stay grounded while you go through this process of helping to release the trials and traumas that you face throughout your life. And until you do that, you can't reach your heart. And the world sages have said, you know, you've got to let go of all human attachments. The Hopi Maori, they say, let go of the sides of the riverbank, move toward the center, find those who have done the same, and celebrate. Now, what that means is letting go of the sides of the riverbank means letting go of all human attachments. Move to the center means moving to your proverbial heart center and the center of the river of life because it knows where it's going. We do not. And find those who've done the same is find those who have had the courage to jump like you did. Those, according to all of our elders around the world, are going to be the definition of your new tribe.
So while we are finding our new tribe, I want to say one thing that emphasizes what you just said, and then we're going to get everybody else into this conversation here.
Good.
Um, I had a personal trial of fear and courage. Um, and some of you already know this because I wrote about this some years ago when I was in the Himalayas. I was going from one village to another on foot, and we were on the Doak River, which is about 200 feet above the Doak River. And the path that we were on, myself and my friend, we were going to my friend's village, um, was wide enough for two people to walk side by side. Then it was wide enough for one person to walk comfortably. And then it shrunk down to you got to put each foot in front of the other foot. And I have a balance issue, so as some of you know, and I couldn't look around. I couldn't look. I mean, we're walking about 200 feet above the river. I mean, straight drop down. You can hear, beautiful river. You could hear the river roaring, but I wasn't looking at it. I was looking at her feet. As long as I could follow her feet, I knew that I could walk the path. So she's about 15 feet in front of me, and she walks around a corner. I didn't see the corner. Walks around a corner and disappears. And you were talking about holding onto the sides of the riverbank. I pressed myself against the side of this mountain. Okay. I mean, I both hands and closed my eyes and froze there for what felt like 2 or 3 hours. Okay. It could have been 2 or 3 minutes, but my whole life was on the side of that mountain. And the entire time I'm talking to myself. And I'm saying, you have to do this. You can't stay here. You've got to let go of the side of this mountain and get yourself around that corner. I mean, so when you looked at the corner, it looked like you were walking off into space. Okay. And um, I wish I could say that this was my proudest moment, and I went charging down the street, down the road, and skipping down the road, etc. But I didn't do that. Okay, it took me a long time to talk to my feet to make them move. Okay, and um, when when I got to that corner where I couldn't see anything and turned the corner, my friend Stanzen was sitting on a boulder, playing with her video games, her games on her handheld, wondering what kept me. It would have been nice if she had come back to find out whether I went over the side or not. I guess you didn't hear me screaming. Um, but that was my moment to come face to face with paralyzing fear I didn't even know I had. Paralyzing fear is the fear that says I can't move forward. I'm paralyzed by this. What's your paralyzing fear? What is your fear of I don't know what? Um, you're, and you may not know what, but you're going to find out right now because we are going to get thrown into some breakout rooms, and you're going to be taking into the breakout room.
Before you do,
Mhm.
I wanted to respond a little bit. One time I was invited to the Tarahumaras in Mexico, and it's in the Mexican, the Andes, Mexican, northwest Mexico mountains. And I was invited, and I had one person that was appointed to pick me up at the airport in Chihuahua, and we drove for 2 days in a VW bug. And then all of a sudden she veers off the road, and we're driving on the roadless road through the mountains. And we got to the top of the hill, and the village that I was invited to was a small village of about 50 houses, 50 huts, and they all had one, um, um, what do you call that? What do you call that sun thing? Uh, what
Uh,
do you call?
solar cell, I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, the panel, right.
one solar panel per hut, and uh, I could hear singing by the entire tribe. They grow over 90 types of corn in their field, and they were doing ceremony over the field, and they only spoke their own language. They didn't speak any Spanish. They didn't speak anything but their own language. They made their own clothes, and they had no modern technology except for that one solar panel and that one VW bug. And so while I was there, I was invited to go to a ceremony in the other side of the mountain. So we went up the mountain, and you could hear them in ceremony 20 miles away. And when we got there, they took me through this weaving dance that they did, and I was doing ceremony with them. And then we would take this drink that they called a drink that would let you talk to the face of God. And sure enough, I could, after about an hour, I could not speak a lie, not a single lie to myself or to anybody else. Well, on our way back, we had to go back to on the mountain, and there was this thin trail that barely had our feet together, and it was pitch black out. There was no stars, no moon. It was pitch black, and we were walking along in this uh, narrow ledge, and it was 300-foot drop. And she said one thing. She said, "Trust your body." So I did, and I made it through. And this is something that we all have the ability to do, but we have, with our minds interfering and fearful, we get shaken up, and we lose our balance and everything else. So trust your body, because the body never lies.
Um, I was, I was saying to my feet on the Doak River, trust our body. And my feet were saying, fuck you. I'm going the other way. um, there was quite a conversation going on, and we got ourselves together, and I am proud of all parts of me, including my feet, that moved in the right direction. And I learned an awful lot about myself. Um, let's go ahead and do our when I open the rooms, I think all of us know about Zoom rooms by now. Go into the room that you've been assigned. I am not going to be in a room, and I'm going to ask Ilarion not to go into a room. We're going to be moving between rooms. Um, I'm going to be muted and my camera off. Don't refer any questions to me or to Ilarion. Y'all are talking to each other. We are the flies on the wall listening in. And when I bring us back, it will be to do some group sharing. We are going to be in rooms of, looks like, three apiece. And um, you're going to have about 2 or 3 minutes apiece to talk. And that does not mean lecture, that means listening, talking when appropriate, finding your balance in the group. And let's see, I think that's about it. So let me open the rooms. They're now open. You can now start the process of joining a room. Did any of you hear anything that you thought was really interesting, important, or want to bring to the group? Emphasize on hearing because a lot of times we, meaning me, get really caught up in what I'm saying and I'm not really paying attention to what I'm hearing. And a lot of times that hearing is something that the universe wants to say to me through another person. So, did you hear something that, Linda? Thank you.
I noticed that Esther and I, while technically we had different fears, they both came from a very similar base. And it had to do with how women are separated from men in this society and the actions that and ways we react to that. So I felt in some ways we had very much in common, even though our fears were somewhat different.
Well, number one, I think that's a good observation between the two of you. Number two, I think it's also a good observation between you and all other women of this society. And number three, maybe the majority of women in the world. Okay. And I think it's one of the things that we, all of us, men and women, have to cure. And the thing of being um, true human beings, authentic human beings, means we have to approach that in different ways. Um, in general, men need um, to recognize our um, humanity, fragility, vulnerability, all that mushy heart stuff. um, and women have to let go of being um, the mop, the doorstop, the go-to for you're not good enough, etc. And um, we're on it. Um, let's take another question or comment or thought that you heard somebody else say during your.
Shariff, can I respond a little bit to this last one?
Yeah.
Okay. I was talking to a group of ministers at one point in time, and there were about 50 ministers there, and so I talked to them, and then I said, you know, this thing about we're different uh, is because if you take a kitchen rubber glove and blow it up, these fingers think they're human when they're one breath. That is the essence of the divinity of who we are. We call the Great Spirit the Great Spirit that lives in all things. And this distinction for separation is only an illusion because we have adopted duality as the real thing that exists in the universe. So, and then I heard about climate change from one of the speakers, and they were focusing on climate change. I'll share with you one piece of guidance. Remember when I said state-of-the-art thinking, state-of-the-art technologies is nothing but the old regurgitated as the new? Well, when we convert to hybrid fuels in the U.S., many of the world's farmers took to fuel crops instead of food crops, and it increased the cost of living worldwide and increased starvation. That's an example of thinking with your mind and not your heart.
Thinking with your mind and your pocketbook, because I'm sure they made more money with the fuel crops than they did feeding human beings or other beings.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah. If I can say one thing now, and then I got another question for you, and then we're going to wrap up. Good. We're having, are we having fun? Um, um, and again, I was when I finally finished the walk up the path to Hunderdok, um, and got to Stanson's mother's place. I was there for 3 or 4 days, and I was fed a lot of barley cakes and a lot of yogurt. And the yogurt, um, I- for the what 6 or 7 miles that I walked in, there's no electricity. Not the someone has never experienced electricity. Okay. No running. Oh, there's plenty of running water. That stream out back. And if you haven't taken your morning wash up in water that 10 minutes earlier had been ice on a glacier, you don't know what being awake really means. um, brush your teeth before your fingers numb. Um, but I really liked the barley cakes and I really liked the yogurt. And after the second day, I was walking through her compound, and she has a yak in the compound, and the yak was looking at me, and I'm like, this is the first time I was face to face with a being that was feeding me. Now, if you eat fish or eat steak, you cut the head off and you cook it, and then it's feeding you, but there's nothing to say thank you to. But so I started to pass by the cow. No, I'm sorry, the yak. It's a yak. They look different. The stuff that you squeeze out of them tastes different. And I stopped and I backed up and I looked this being in the eye and I said, "Thank you." And it looked at me like like it didn't understand English or did not understand English, and I don't speak yak. Um, uh, okay. I was later when we were walking back to civilization, yeah, the breakerization. Um, I met two wild yaks on the road. Now, at this point, I was in the lead. I'm an intrepid mountain man now. I've walked past my fears, except these 6 foot tall yaks that are two of them on the road looking at me with horns that come out like this. Okay. And I'm like, okay, we're face to face. I can't walk around you. I don't know what to do here. Stanson's behind me. And we do this face off. I mean, like these are really big beings. And so she catches up and she says something like, "Druzu," and both of the yaks in unison turn around and walk back down the path. And we start following after them. And the yaks stop at this point where the path was wide enough for us to walk around them. And so she starts walking around them. And I get these things, if it all it would have to do is nudge me and knock me into the river. Okay. And the lead yak looks at me as though, why didn't you say what you wanted, that you wanted us to turn around? It's like, sorry. So um our ability to call on the trillions and quadrillions of consciousnesses on this planet to resolve all of our difficulties, most of them human created. We're right there. Uh, we're running low on time, so I'm going to ask another question for Ilarion to respond to. And I'm going to do some things here. And he went somewhere. There we go. Um, we talked about courage, living in our hearts, moving beyond fear. I don't know if you want to say anything about what appears in the Hopi Prophecy about moving from the fourth to the fifth world and what our task is around that.
What is around that?
What our tasks are
Oh.
around that. What are we supposed to do?
Well, the elders that I work with around the world, they say the most unselfish thing you can do right now is to heal yourself. And that means heal yourself so that you can be a real human being, present in the moment and in the heart. That's all you need to do. The rest is going to be taken care of. And I can't emphasize enough that this is our number one responsibility on Mother Earth right now. We have to get to our heart so that we can you can help us in solving the things that are in the world right now. Colombia, the elders from South America, they recently created an organization that is composed of 1,000 spiritual elders and 115 different tribes. One of the things that they unanimously agreed to is that they would like everyone in the world to hook up in ceremony during the significant moon and sun times to help them create a vibrational field around Mother Earth composed of love. This, they said, since we've been given free choice, that the free choice that humankind has exercised so far was to create this negative field of chaos and confusion and pain. And they have, we can create another field that gives human beings a choice as to whether or not they choose this old field or go to this field of love. Now, this goes beyond quantum physics. This is something that the world's elders understand to be the thing that can be done in the world today. That if we have enough people that choose this path, it will mitigate the adverse circumstances that are about to be unleashed on the world within a short period of time. And that we must not have fear. If we're present in the moment, you're not going to be fearful because everything is taken care of. The future doesn't exist, the past is done. We are just simply here present in the moment. you will not experience that kind of fear. And so if you do that, we have a chance as human beings to go through this period of time and get through it in a way where we can achieve the spiritual vision that we all have. The elders say, what we choose to focus on becomes our reality. And if we choose to focus on trying to stop something that we disagree with, we forget we're mental, physical, and spiritual energies, and if we pour our energies into that which we're trying to stop, it gets bigger. What we must focus on instead is the world we wish to see without reaction to anything. And so, for the sake of humankind, you're all gurus now, and your answers are in your heart.
I heartily agree. Um, and this notion of healing ourselves, healing myself, I think that part of that is for me to sit in ceremony, for me to meditate, for me on a physical level, eat good food, etc. But on a psychic level, on a mental level, mental emotional level, if we're still watching TV and we're still watching our daily dose of bad news, of bad energy, we are not doing it. That is the way to maintain and maybe even strengthen the breaker consciousness. Um, if yeah, a lot of people on this call don't look at news, either now or who will be looking at the recording. They don't look at news. Um, some do as I do. I look at news headlines and I ask myself the question at every headline, does this have anything to do with me? If not, go click, 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 and click. I can do a news summary in about 2 minutes. Um, if it has something to do with you, you should do something about it. And if it doesn't have anything to do with you, why are you stuffing it in your head and in your heart? Um, and so this is the thing where I talk about discipline being one of the 3 Ds that um, keep us together. Um, Discipline means having the strength to turn off the TV. Something I see that's happening now in some of the restaurants that I eat at is they have these TVs everywhere, and they've been blasting, stuff that I do my best to try to shield myself from the televisions as I'm eating. But some of these restaurants are now turned the TV to food channels. So you see people making food and it's like, oh, I can actually watch that. That looks really interesting. And um so I am we need to protect what goes in our eyes and ears the same way that we protect what goes into our mouth if we do that. or what would go into a baby's mouth, or how you would be consuming things. I am going to see if there are any other folks. And I see Jenna waving her meat hand around, so I'm gonna get to Jenna. Um, and and there's Jenna.
Shariff, to your last comment, and I have felt this and expressed this to numerous people over the last few years. Vision is the power of intention. And the more we focus on a vision, the more that we are directing our creative powers in that direction. And in our Western culture, that vision is being has been pretty much established through Hollywood and leadership and so forth. And my concern is always that we don't seem to have another vision that is something other than apocalyptic vision of Hollywood.
Mhm.
And so that becomes our responsibility to create a vision and to hold that vision and share it. It doesn't mean we have to proselytize or anything like that. It can be just the power of focusing there in meditation, in prayer, individually, and extending that out to the world. I do have an image that was one of my visions years back, but I can't pull it up quickly. But I'll find it and I'll share a copy with you, Shariff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a visual vision, it's a piece of artwork, and I'll share that.
I wear my vision on my chest every day. And for those of you who can't read that, it says creating a world that works for all. And I always get really interesting looks at it. First is people make an assumption that I'm talking about creating a world that works for me and my friends. And that's where most of our political, economic, social stuff is. But I keep saying all means all. And this becomes not just something cool to say, but it becomes a challenge. How am I creating a world that works for all right now? How am I doing that? I don't know if Ilarion, you want to respond to that, and how to say and hold a vision, um, and how to get called on it. I mean, like there are people who will say to me, um, yeah, how is doing X being living in a world that works for all? Yeah, Jenna.
And my apologies, Ilarion. I just wanted to add this. What I find is that oftentimes when I share where I'm aligned in the way I choose to believe and live my life, it seems so foreign to other people. And usually there's some pushback rather than, oh, tell me more. And that turns into a frustration. And that frustration for me ends up being not being as open about it, just being a presence. And I don't know, I haven't figured out how to resolve that. And I look forward to Ilarion's response to everything here.
Do everything.
Yeah, Jenna, uh, that's a beautiful way to express yourself. And, you know, the elders say that as the light comes up, meaning that as people are waking up to being a real human being, the darkness will come up with it for a period of time and look exactly like the light, except for those who can discern with awareness what that really is. That we must be cognizant of the fact that that darkness is there, but we as light do not fear it. What we do, for example, we don't exorcise the devil. If we feel darkness present at the moment, we imagine a blue light that we invite that being to go to or to go away. Either way, they were not welcome where we are. And this is the way that the universe has been created. It's not judgmental. It's not condemning. It's not talking about harming somebody because they're evil. We ask them to transform themselves through this light, or not. That's their choice. And so, same is true with anybody else. Try, if you can, to not let that affect you, because it is not about you. It's more a reflection of who they are. And if you take that attitude, you can get through anything. And okay, I will say this one last thing. Remember that you are all gurus. I'm not telling you anything you don't know already, somehow, some way. All we can do, and this is the way that I talk to anybody else who is directly opposing what I'm saying, I say, all I can do is lay out what I know. It's not up to me to decide whether or not you pick it up. That's your choice. And you have your own sacred path. So I recognize that, and I have no business telling you, you must do this. Everyone is on their own sacred path.
Yeah, number one, yes. Number two, technically we are out of time. I'm going to ask if we can hang in here for 5 more minutes because we need to set up what we're going to be doing next week this time.
Well, I wonder, Shariff, if we can't do that, given the fact that you missed out on notifying 2,000 people in our mailing list.
Well, yes, I'm going to be processing this video as fast as I can tonight, and they should have it tomorrow morning. Um, um, and given the fact that we did not spend that much time on the setting up the rite of passage, I don't think that they will be missing out on anything. But one of the things that Ilarion and I have talked about is the notion of a rite of passage. A lot of you know the concept of it. And what we want to do is set up a rite of future passage as we are passing, as the Hopi say, from the 4th to the 5th world, as we're passing from the breaker world to the mender world, as I say, as we're passing from being illusory human beings to being true human beings, we can set a definite intention to do that. And we can set that intention together. And I would encourage us to do that, to set our intention together. And I would like to take some of our time next week to actually walk ourselves through a communal rite of passage, to ask ourselves, what are we willing to give up? What are we willing to let go of? What are we willing to adopt? What are we willing to accept? What fear would we let go of? What fear are we ready to move beyond? And how can we help each other? And how can we help ourselves move forward on this? And I don't know, Ilarion, if you want to add anything to that list of things for us to think about for the next week and to bring to our Tuesday evening gathering. What would you add to that list?
Remember that we discussed what is the essence of courage, and for each individual to assess their level and what they're struggling with now in terms of having the kind of courage it will take to reach one's heart.
Okay, excellent. Um, so one of the problems of uh, doing all this stuff via Zoom. Zoom is a great tool. I talk bad about it sometimes, but it's an amazing tool. The fact that we can talk to each other across the country for hours and hours, and we take that for granted now. But one of the problems is in our time we get I can't see you, we can't hold hands, we can't chant the ceremonies together. It is really a challenge, and we will do the best we can of suggesting how we do a joint ceremony in as many different time zones as we're in. We're almost everybody's in a different time zone, and as many different challenges that as we've got. And as I said, I want to thank Ilarion for joining us, and look forward to him joining us next week as we are um, designing our methodology for reflecting on our future. Unless there's another major um, uh, thought. I'm going through brain freeze right now. Let us wrap up for the night. Look forward to next week. The videos will be coming out as soon as I get them processed. I'm going to eat a little bit of dinner and get to work on it. And I look forward to those of us who are on the daily meditation. I'll see you in a few hours. Those of us who are on the Thursday morning meditation, I'll see you in 24 hours. Those of us who are only on the Tuesday evening meditation, I'll see you in a week. So, may all beings be well. May all beings be secure. May all beings be happy. Thank you. Talk to you later. Bye.